Before the world knew the word Ford, before the roar of engines filled the streets, there was a young boy from a small farm, a dreamer with oil-stained hands and a heart full of determination. This is the story of Henry Ford, the man who turned simplicity into revolution, who changed how we move, work, and live, and whose humbling journey proves that greatness often begins in the most ordinary places. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, on a farm in Dearborn, Michigan, USA. He was the eldest of 6 children of William and Mary Ford, both hard-working farmers of Irish descent. Life on the farm was simple, filled with long days of labor, tending crops, feeding animals, and repairing tools. But young Henry's mind was elsewhere. He was not content with the rhythm of farm life. At the age of 12, his father gave him a pocket watch, an ordinary gift that would shape his destiny. Henry didn't just admire the watch. He took it apart, studied every gear and spring, and put it back together. Soon, neighbors brought him their broken watches, amazed that a young boy could repair them with precision. It was clear. Henry Ford was born to build, to fix, to innovate. But in 18, tragedy struck when his beloved mother Mary passed away. He later said, "The day my mother died was the day I grew up." Her death left a deep void in his heart, but also ignited his resolve to make something extraordinary out of his life. At 16 years old, Ford left the comfort of the family farm. He walked miles to Detroit, carrying nothing but ambition and a few coins in his pocket. He found work as an apprentice machinist, earning just $2.50 a week, working long hours, sometimes up to 12 hours a day. But he was exactly where he wanted to be, surrounded by machines. He absorbed every detail, every process, every sound of clanging metal and spinning gears. After work, he studied engines and mechanical parts under dim candlelight, while other men went drinking or resting. Ford's obsession was clear. He wanted to create a machine that would make people's lives easier, a machine that could move by itself. In 1885, Ford learned about the internal combustion engine, a revolutionary new invention that used gasoline for power. He was fascinated. He studied every blueprint and diagram he could find. At the time, cars were luxury toys for the rich, unreliable, loud, and extremely expensive. But Ford saw something deeper. He believed that one day ordinary people could own and drive cars, if only they could be built simply and cheaply. In 1888, Henry married Clara Bryant, a supportive woman who believed in his dreams even when money was tight. They lived on a small farm where Ford worked by day and built machines at night. He spent years experimenting, often working until dawn. The neighbors thought he was crazy. But Ford was not building a dream for them. He was building one for the future. By 1891, Ford's skills landed him a job at the Edison Illuminating Company in Detroit. He worked hard, rose quickly, and became chief engineer. This job gave him something he never had before: access to electricity, materials, and a steady income. Late at night after work, Ford would return to his small workshop behind his house and tinker with engines. He was determined to build a self-propelled vehicle. Then on June 4th, 1896, after years of trial and error, he succeeded. His invention, called the quadricycle, had 4 bicycle wheels, a steering tiller, and could reach 20 miles per hour. When he drove it down the streets of Detroit, people were astonished. Some laughed, others called him foolish. But Ford only smiled. He had just built his first car, and he knew this was only the beginning. Success didn't come easily. In 1899, Ford founded the Detroit Automobile Company with a group of investors. But things quickly went wrong. The cars were expensive, poorly made, and unreliable. The company collapsed within 2 years. To many, that would have been the end. But not for Ford. He saw failure as a lesson. He famously said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." In 1901, he built a race car called the Sweepstakes, and against all odds, he won a major race against the top drivers in the country. That victory brought him attention, credibility, and new investors. 2 years later, in 1903, Henry Ford founded the Ford Motor Company with just 28,011 investors. This time, he was ready. In 1908, Ford unveiled the Model T, a simple, durable, and affordable car that would change the world forever. It cost around $850, far cheaper than other vehicles. It was easy to repair, could handle rough roads, and ran reliably. Ford's goal was clear: to make cars accessible to the common man, not just the wealthy. He said, "I will build a motor car for the great multitude." People loved it. Demand exploded. But as sales grew, so did the challenge of meeting production. To solve this, Ford introduced something that would revolutionize industry: the moving assembly line in 1913. This method allowed cars to be built 10 times faster, reducing production time from 12 hours to just 93 minutes. The price of the Model T dropped to around $260, making it affordable for almost anyone. By 1918, half of all cars in the United States were Model Ts. Ford's innovation didn't stop with machines. He changed how workers were treated too. In 1914, he shocked the world by introducing the $5 workday, double the average wage at the time, and cutting the workday from 9 hours to 8 hours. People thought he was insane. Critics said he would bankrupt the company. But the result was astonishing. Worker productivity skyrocketed. Turnover dropped dramatically. Employees could now afford to buy the very cars they built. Ford's philosophy was simple but powerful. Paying good wages is not charity, it is good business. He had turned industrial labor into a system where workers and production both thrived. Yet, even a genius faces flaws. Henry Ford was a man of strong opinions, sometimes too strong. He opposed unions and was often criticized for his stubbornness and strict management style. During the 1920s, his company faced intense competition. His refusal to update the Model T for years led to declining sales. When Ford finally introduced the Model A in 1927, it was a hit. But by then, his dominance had started to fade. Ford's anti-union stance and some controversial political views further complicated his legacy. Still, nothing could erase the fact that he had transformed global manufacturing forever. Behind the industrial giant, it was a simple way who never forgot his roots. He preferred plain clothes, worked with his employees, and valued hands-on learning. He often said, "Thinking is the hardest work there is," which is probably the reason why so few engage in it. He also believed in education and self-improvement. He built schools, sponsored agricultural projects, and supported community development around his hometown. Ford also had a deep fascination with history. He collected artifacts, old machinery, and Americana, which would later become the Henry Ford Museum, a place where innovation and creativity are celebrated even today. By the 1920s and 1930s, Ford's impact had gone global. The Ford Motor Company established factories in Europe, South America, and Asia. He transformed not only transportation, but also industrial production, urban development, and social mobility. Cars became symbols of freedom. Roads expanded, cities grew, and industries flourished, all sparked by the vision of one man who wanted to build a simple, reliable car for everyone. By 1940, more than 40 million cars around the world carried the Ford name. Henry Ford stepped down as president in 1919, handing leadership to his son Edsel Ford, though he remained deeply involved in decision-making. The Great Depression and World War II tested his company and character. After Edsel's death in 1943, Ford briefly resumed control before eventually passing it on to his grandson, Henry Ford II. On April 7, 1947, Henry Ford passed away at the age of 83 in his Dearborn estate. He left behind not just a car company, but an empire built on perseverance, innovation, and the belief that progress should serve people, not just profit. Henry Ford's story is not just about cars. It's about courage, resilience, and the power of believing in a dream even when no one else does. From a humble farm boy to an industrial legend, his life reminds us that success is not born overnight. It's built from failure, hard work, and unshakable faith in your vision. Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." That single line defines his philosophy and perhaps the essence of innovation itself. Today, every time an engine starts, every time a worker earns fair wages, every time an idea turns into a revolution, a part of Henry Ford's spirit lives on. His story proves that one dreamer can move not just himself, but the entire world.